I bought another one.
Today?
Seems like too many wheels. We may have officially fallen off the rocker with this guy. I mean, what on earth are we doing here, guys? You know, besides collecting some of the most unique Land Rovers available, we love the unloved. But here at the Lost Cause Ranch, we now have our very own 6x6 Land Rover. Well, not quite 6x6, but before we dive any further into this thing as to what it is, where we got it, why we got it, since these things are pretty controversial, I want you to go ahead and stop what you're doing, comment down below, would you yourself own a Land Rover with far too many wheels? Now, we all know that I need another Land Rover, like I need another hole in my head, but it's just been a strange string of luck lately with that clean D1, that neat X-Mod Defender, and now this popping up very close to home. Would you believe that we picked this thing up in Iowa? Yes, we're in Iowa, and this thing was also in Iowa, somehow not already in my possession. So right after we got back home from dropping off the Rover Ball Loaner Defender and picking up the Freelander that broke during the Rover Ball, my buddy gets a hold of me and says, I'm still clearing out a few of the Land Rovers, and the 6x6 Disco is on the chopping block. And who in their right mind could say no to that? Now, I'm using the term 6x6 loosely because if we crawl underneath here, it's got a Bluetooth drive shaft going to the rear axle, which means currently this guy is really a 6x4. This rear axle is essentially just a tag axle, not driving anything. We're just driven like a normal Discovery front and rear. Now, I can almost guarantee that there's going to be some people watching with more expertise in this area, or actually this missing area of drive shaft, and what to do to fix that. At the end of the video, I kind of want to chat about that and get some opinions on how we make this a true 6x6, because it looks like there's some options. The extra wheel in the back is not the only reason we just had to have this guy, but I am super curious as to how one of these guys drives, being it's a super long boy now. Sounds like we got a mouse in the heater fan. But there is just a lot hanging out back there. Freaking comical, I tell ya. We probably should put our seatbelt on. We don't exactly know how this is gonna go. Now, by the rattles you're hearing and what you're seeing behind me and above me, it is a bit unfinished, which, as you know, is the way we typically buy stuff. But this rear window being real close to me right now is one of the big reasons I bought this thing. Some of you keen observers may be picking up as to what's going on here. Kind of has to do with an Acme crate, but it is currently 27 degrees out with a feels like temperature of 6 degrees. That's in Fahrenheit. So I am loving this tiny little cab because it makes that heat work all the better. And what works surprisingly well is turning this hog. I wasn't quite sure if we were gonna get a bunch of scrubbing like you do on a tandem axle trailer. We're gonna attempt to do a U-turn here in a space that is barely big enough to do a U-turn in a normal Discovery, and we'll see what happens. It did just fine. Now, my other concern was the stability. So this thing is a bit of a conglomeration of stuff. A unique power plant, but it is a 2004 Discovery cab, but the underpinnings are a Discovery 1 chassis with another Discovery 1 chassis. So I was a bit concerned, or I guess I could say naive, to how the thing would handle, especially at speed. I don't exactly know what adding another axle with another 3-link setup behind an axle and 3-leg setup from a Discovery would react, especially at speed. And speaking of speed, I have absolutely no idea how fast we're going. Now you can kind of hear the rhythmic rattles as we're going over a somewhat rough road. It is very bouncy. I'm guessing that has something to do with having twice as much spring as you typically have in the back of a Discovery. So I think we're either going to need to load this thing down or get a softer spring. Now this thing is very much a case of just because you can doesn't mean you should. But to be honest, those are the type of things I want in my life. Things that are unnecessary are typically the most fun. And just look at how ridiculous that thing is compared to a normal Discovery. This thing actually appears to be a very nicely put together piece. Whoever did all the work did a nice job, especially on this flatbed. In my opinion, it's a bit too long. I think it should end somewhere in this neighborhood, and that just might have to happen in the future. A little bit of a box opener, and we can take care of that. We would have to come up with somewhere else to put the fuel tank. I'm sure there's plenty of room under there somewhere. But the flatbed is actually very nicely constructed. We got good welds, nice 2x4 steel tubing. Looks to be well braced underneath. We also have a nice dual swing out tire carrier, which opens up to a ton of cargo capacity. I think we found our new truck to run to Menards with. And the space for this flatbed was made possible by this Long Ranger truck cab enclosure kit. This is actually 95% of the reason as to why I felt the need to snag this guy. I wanted to see how someone else chopped up and installed one of these, you know, for reasons. Now that doesn't exactly sound like a Rover V8 now, does it? Underneath here, we have ourselves a little LS swap. Well, truck motor. It's supposed to be a 4.8 liter, but that is right, we are back to having an ace swapped Land Rover. A lot of you guys came to the channel when we did our first one. Yeah, that would have been 4 or 5 years ago. And now we get to play with another. We got a bit of cleaning up to do with this guy to make me happy. But man, I forgot just how much better these things act with an LS motor in them versus that Rover V8. Nothing wrong with a good Rover V8, but these guys just drive like they should. A little bit extra power makes all the world of difference, especially when you add another one of those on the back. And like anything, it came with a bunch of extra parts. So my problem isn't necessarily with the fact that I'm buying too many Land Rovers. It's the fact that somehow I'm buying Land Rovers that come with too many extra parts. You know, including some new Defender Steelies. You know, I just needed a bunch more of those. But I guess at least we have enough LR4s and whatnot laying around that these might come in handy. I'm happy about these though. Some clean gutter trim for D2s. Bunch of random D2 parts. We'll add that to my D2 part collection, which is already pretty vast. By the looks of things, it might be time for another shipping container. Or maybe I should do something smart like have a Lost Cause Ranch rummage sale. That's an option. But I'm actually pretty excited about these guys here. So the 663 Defender Steelies are 18-inch, and these were a set I wanted to get my hands on just to try on the 405 Range Rover in our quest for an easier option to put 18s on a V8 supercharged one. So these are good to have for science. But like I said, we got a bit of a conglomeration going on here. We got a couple D1 chassis spliced together to make this all happen. I'm not 100% in love with this right there. I would have built a custom piece to go straight across, but this was actually done pretty well and is not a complete hack job like one may expect with something with an extra axle. And we have some nice pieces all the way around. The axles were all gone through, everything was freshened up. All 3 housings were powder coated. We have OME suspension all the way around, stainless braided brake lines, 6 brand new brake calipers, and 8 brand new tires. This is just a great 90% of the way there truck, and hopefully we can bring it to the finish line. The big decision on this guy is, what do we do with this extra rear axle? The most cost effective thing is just to leave it a tag axle, let it spin and hang out back there. The only problem there is this almost makes the Discovery useless off-road. It wouldn't even climb up on the trailer without locking the center diff in. The slight incline on the ramp put the weight on the rear axle and the front axle and took enough weight off this center axle to just let it free spin. That's a problem. This is where I'm asking you guys if you know of any good solutions out there. So on 6x6 conversions so far I've seen, coming off the rear of the transfer case in the PTO position and running 2 drive shafts back, I don't want to do that. I believe Foley also makes essentially like a transfer unit that would bolt on the front of this axle and allow you to run a drive shaft over top it to the rear axle. So we could either get one of those or find a transfer unit that we could adapt and machine something and make that work. The other thing I'm seeing is we could almost make a custom axle with a Ford 9-inch center section for this center one and do a pass-through pinion. The Ford 9-inch has a low pinion where the pinion enters towards the bottom of the differential. Therefore, we could run a through shaft out the back underneath the differential inside the housing. We cannot do it with the Rover one because that through pinion would run right into the differential. Just spitballing here, I suppose another option would be to cut the rear of the housing off, and we could almost do another pinion off the back side of the ring gear. That would be a lot of custom parts. It would almost just look like a axle housing with 2 third members, one coming out each side. But I'm currently like Will Smith here, all ears. If you have any ideas, let me know. I'd love to hear them. I want to get my brain rolling. This isn't going to happen right away. We obviously have some other stuff to accomplish around here first. So there we have it. We picked up what is definitely one of the most unique Land Rovers I will probably ever own, and I'm excited. I'm super excited. I love things like this. Driving this around town, this guy makes even non-car people smile. And that is what life is all about. Having fun. And I suspect this one is going to have no problem being lots of fun in the future. And hopefully we will see you guys out at some Rover events next year with our 6x6. We're starting to get quite the collection around here. I may need volunteers to drive some of this stuff. We just got too many to bring along. And speaking of bringing stuff along, the frickin' L405. Every single time we go and chase after another Land Rover, I'm just utterly impressed at how good it is. Once again, you noticed we couldn't take our trailer. If you look at the length of a normal Discovery, it takes up most of my little trailer. So we had to take Ted's once again, because much like a wiener dog, this thing is long and useless and wouldn't fit on mine. But man, 300 miles of towing one of the world's longest Land Rovers with a Range Rover was quite pleasurable. This thing's unreal. Before we go though, I do have one question. I have a lot going on around here that I don't quite deem important enough to make a sole video about, but I do have you guys reaching out every now and then wanting to know about that stuff. I want to keep the main video that goes up on Sunday Land Rover or shop related, but I'm curious, would you guys want a short 5 to 10 minute video midweek on essentially a state of the union here at the ranch? Just kind of an overview as to what is happening during the past week. Like we have a Chevy here, odd. We also had an interesting Jeep Gladiator with a new Chevy 6.6 liter LT swapped into it that needed a little bit of maintenance. And we always have a bunch of miscellaneous small Land Rover things happening. So if that's something you want to see, I think I can put that out there and give you a little better view as to what's happening day to day without taking too much time away from the actual videos that come out every week. With that being said, I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you subscribing. We definitely added far too many wheels to the Land Rover collection this week, and I think I'm going to turn off my internet so we don't add any more in the near future, because we're going to be back on the LS Defender, the LR4, and next week isn't going to be really heavy, because it's going to be on the lightweight. I lied and said that was going to be this video, but how does a guy turn down this?